Achilles injuries have been on the rise in the NBA,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
I'll lay
Yeah.
down I laid down the situation so far. So
Right.
from the 1990 to 2023, only 45 players have torn their Achilles. Notably, you got Isaiah Thomas, you got
Dominique.
Dominique,
Yeah.
Kobe, Marcus.
Kobe.
I think Clay was also in that list as well,
Clay. Yeah.
right? But in this season alone, right? In this season alone, we've had eight. We've had eight Achilles injuries. One in the
Achilles.
preseason. Deron Holmes injured
Mm-hmm.
his in the preseason. You
Mm-hmm.
got four in the regular season. James Wiseman was one of them.
Yeah.
Isaiah Jackson was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
DeJounte Murray was one of them as well.
Dejounte Murray.
And then in the playoffs, the big three. You got
Yeah.
Dame Lillard injuring his. You got Tatum, big deal. And as we saw in Game 7, the Halliburton. Halliburton got struck down by Achilles.
All of
What?
them wearing the number 0.
All of them wearing the number 0. That's true. And another thing here is a funny thing that
Mm.
Wiseman, Isaiah Jackson, and Halliburton all played for the Pacers. They
Yeah.
all tore their keys. It's pretty funny. But
Yeah.
what do you think about this? I mean, we have thoughts about this, but what do you think about this Achilles injury
So
and how do we prevent it, or if any?
I think honestly, this is something that the NBA has to look into. I've seen so many reels where, people have been proposing either shortening the season or someone even talked about that white sleeve that they're.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think shortening the season is a good way to kind of mitigate, the number of Achilles injuries. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on shortening the season?
Okay, so I think shortening the season is probably not what they want to do, just because
Mm-hmm.
of the fact that the TV deals rest upon it. Right?
Uh-huh.
You have 82 games split towards, I believe, two or three networks, right, that
Mm-hmm.
are broadcasting these games, and cutting
Right.
that will be cutting into the NBA's revenue. So I'm not sure
Uh-huh.
that that's what they want, because if the
Uh-huh.
NBA's revenue gets cut, then
Mm-hmm.
the players' contracts will
Right.
value will suffer. And I don't think the players want that either.
Mm-hmm.
This is an issue of having your cake and eating it too, to be honest.
Right.
Um, I don't agree with shortening the season, but I do agree with relaxing load management rules, and here's why.
Mm.
And I just want to use. I'm not sure if there's a medical correlation to this, but prior to Kobe's Achilles tear, we all know what happened there. He
Right.
was playing 44, 45, even
45
whole
minutes
games,
a game.
right?
Yeah.
Before that break, I don't think he had a calf strain or whatever, and I think that's the prevailing theory is that calf strains caused this. But Kobe was playing 45 minutes a game, and
Right.
he tore his on just because it was just overused, right?
Yeah.
This take note. This was years of abuse
So much
and
mileage on
stress,
those. Yeah.
right? But
Yeah. On those
with
feet. Yeah.
with Halliburton, Dame, and I believe Kevin Durant as well. I'm not sure about Tatum. I think Tatum as well. They all had calf strains, and they
Right.
decided to play on it.
Right.
And then we all know what happened after. So
Yeah.
I think it's an issue of the way these players play now. Remember, the NBA has made the game in a way that offense is the one that's prioritized.
Yeah.
Teams are playing faster. Teams are playing with a lot more possessions per game.
Right.
So the way that these athletes are exerting their bodies to play this game is probably one of the reasons why these injuries have happened.
Right.
So I think load management should be a bigger thing that they look at. But one of the things they should look at as well is they have to somewhat slow the game down. For me, in my opinion, I'm not saying go back to the '90s where scoring,
No.
people weren't scoring, and physicality was king. I think you have to have that balance, and we talked about this before. You have to have that balance between offense and defense,
Right.
and you have to couple that with rest management principles.
Right.
You can't. I mean, look, Tibbs is a great defensive mind, but he plays his players too much, and
Yeah.
that's caused injuries in the past. And we've seen what happened to Kobe, and we've seen what happened when you push on with injuries. When you're injured, you gotta just not play. That's what it is, right?
Right.
I can understand Halliburton's stance. This is game 7. This is for all
Yeah.
the marbles. As Kevin Garnett said, right? This is for
Yeah.
all the marbles.
Yeah.
So I understand why Halliburton had to play that game. He may
Hmm.
not reach the same state again in his career. He might not even go
True.
to another finals in his career. So that's why he played. I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. Right. But the NBA has to look at slowing down the game and
Hmm.
giving these guys a lot more time to rest if you don't want
Right.
to shorten the season. That's my
Yeah.
thoughts about it.
Yep.
Because you're essentially losing 1 year when you get injured
Hmm.
like this.
Right.
So yeah, what do you think? Is it too
Could
much
it
to
be
ask for that though?
also as because I was thinking about it, so looking at the way the players play right now. You mentioned, there's a lot more offensive creativity now in the game. Could it be also that the because this is something that's just been a part of players' offensive repertoire in the last like 10 years, which is the gather step.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
Could it be that the use of the gather step is contributing to, because it essentially is a jump stop.
Yep.
And from jump stops, this is where a lot of the Achilles and ACL tears happen. So could it be the prevalence of this gather step that might be causing a lot more mileage to players' feet and knees?
If you look at it right, it kind
Yeah.
of seems that way because that step is performed when you're pushing off, you're extending you're essentially putting all the weight on your toes. That's where it snaps, right? Everyone who's had their Achilles injury, that's the
Mhm.
trigger when the way that foot is flexed. All right, sorry about that. We got some technical problems. I lost power in the house.
Oh shit! Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why we're gonna have a little bit of edit here. But we were talking about
Right.
the push off move, right? From
Uh-huh.
these players. That's why they're kind of getting all these Achilles injuries. So we kind of decided that we were kind of talking about the fact that I think it's an integral move to what
Mhm.
these guys do.
Yeah, yeah, and so I think if given the prevalence of that move and just the building the offensive repertoire of players right now. So yeah, I think the most logical way to kind of mitigate this is to lessen the load management rules and kind of just slow the game down
Yeah,
more.
because the load management rules are pretty strict right now. I believe
Yeah,
that it has to be a very valid reason in order for you
yeah,
to even load manage it. The
right,
Kawhi style of load management isn't really flying so much now. I believe
right,
that superstars have to play certain games when it's on the schedule, like nationally televised games or something like that.
right.
It's it's a very slippery slope if you ask me. I,
Hmm.
I know that they gotta relax it, but in a way that you're still kind of giving the fans what they want. Because,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but if I'm traveling a couple of thousand miles to watch an NBA game, I want to see if I'm gonna watch a Laker game on that trip. I want to see LeBron. I want to see him
Right.
play.
Yeah.
All right, I want to see Luca play. I don't want
Hmm.
them sitting out, but at
Right.
the same time, these these guys are human. These guys have
Yeah.
limitations as well, and
Hmm.
what happened with these Achilles injuries is that these athletes have really pushed their bodies to a point where it just broke,
Hmm.
right? And look at
Yeah.
Halliburton. He essentially just played through pain, right? He had that calf strain. We didn't even
Hmm.
know he was going to play Game 6. There was
Right.
a big discussion pre-game, and he
Hmm.
ended up playing with a calf strain. It,
Hmm.
it was a
Yeah.
miracle that he didn't blow his Achilles then.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
the sucky part there is just he was playing amazing. He was having a great
Those
game,
things so great. Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
believe they were up
Yeah.
up 4,
They're up four. Yeah. Yeah.
and then that's when the wheels started to fall off, so to speak.
Right.
But I don't I we just hope that medical science catches up because we've seen Kevin Durant got injured at I believe he got injured at 30, and he was
Right.
out for there was
Yeah.
this table I saw. I forgot what it is, but apparently Kevin Durant was injured at age 30 and he ended up missing 500 something days. That's the recovery
days.
time
Yep.
for him, right?
Yep.
Kobe was he was a psycho. Kobe was injured at 33,
Yeah.
34, and he ended up
Right.
having 200 something days to recover. That's
To recover.
insane.
Yeah.
So is it
Yeah.
is it maybe do we is it coming to a point where Achilles injuries are going to become the new ACL?
It
Because
could be.
if you
It could be.
right, because you
Yeah.
remember the ACL injuries back
Yeah.
then were they were take a year and then when you come back you're never the same. But
Never
ACL
the
is
same. Yeah.
more like a sprain now, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are still out for a year, but it's more like a sprain. You
Right.
expect them to be normal, but the
Mm-hmm.
Achilles have kind of turned into this new ACL where are they gonna be normal when they get back? Blah blah blah. But that's a
Right.
big improvement from the days of Isaiah where that was it. He was done, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kobe gave us a glimpse of hope, but it at the end of the day, it's really. I hope that medical science, the medical technology catches up to these
Mm-hmm.
injuries because I think it's gonna happen a lot more and more with the way these athletes play. What do you think?
Yeah. I think. I think. I have faith in the. In the evolution of sports science right now, and I think that in the future will given that this is now a big concern in the NBA, I think long term wise we want to see we want to see doctors and sports scientists like find ways to be able to mitigate this injury, and but yeah, I think if we're looking at something to something short term, it would be probably loosening the load management rules, and also, but I think more so slowing the game down. I think
Yeah.
is you know I think right now there's another one way that they've sped up the game was they eliminated the hand check.
Mm.
That's one.
Bring
The
it back, baby. Bring the hand check
bring back
back.
the hand check. Um, or maybe I don't know. I think that's kind of that's kind of one way to do it. I don't think they're gonna remove the zone defense, because that's that's the way we are able to prepare for international competitions
Yeah.
as well. That's the way like other countries play the game. It's a 2-3 zone, so it's the 3-2, the 1-2-2. So yeah, I think kind of slowing the game down and being and having more of that having more of giving like defense more like
A
I wouldn't say
chance, really.
yeah, chance, or like giving, because the beauty of the game, it's not just it's not just the offense, also the defense. Like when you see like back in the day when you have like your two offensive players, Jordan and Pippen, for example, are also your two best defensive players.
Mm.
And you see them, you see them giving it all, giving it 110% on both ends of the court. Because defense is equally as it's not as glamorous as offense, but it's kind of what what makes the game, what makes the game beautiful.
Just look at OKC. Just look at
Yeah,
OKC defense. The way, how beautiful that defense looked. The
absolutely.
effort that it entailed.
Yeah.
If teams can play that same
Hmm.
intensity of defense and not get penalized like OKC was getting rewarded on offense for it,
Right.
it was people are gonna focus on defense again. I think
Oh yeah.
we should start this. The game should start stepping away from that over that really over dependence on 3 and D
Right.
on that pace and space.
Yeah.
You gotta have a little bit more complexity in the offenses
Mhm.
and in the defensive coverage as
Right.
well. That's what hopefully happens here, and maybe that lessens some injuries.